I guess, Morgan, do you want to introduce us?
Yeah, I can. Can work.
Is there a way I can get chat on here as well as all of our
I think you can open the stream if you mute it and
faces?
stuff
Okay.
like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on my
And
screen.
it would appear that we are live. I think. Studio is being a pain.
It would appear that we are live.
And we are.
And we are.
Yeah, and I can
We
hear it
are.
back. But either way, wait for us to get a couple viewers, then I'll introduce.
How's everybody doing tonight? Before we get ears in here.
Bye.
All right. You still reeling from Walmart? All right.
You want to go there?
Me. Greg, me and you might end up having to move in with each other.
I don't know about that. The apartment I'm looking at getting right now is pretty small.
Oh, well, it don't matter. I'll sleep on the floor.
I'm sharing. Got nothing.
Freaking good.
We should we start over?
Don't necessarily have to, I don't think.
This is the pre-show.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, as we get a couple people in here, I'd like to welcome you all to a United Weather Network briefing on Winter Storm Orlena and the potential impacts it could bring to the northeastern and mid-Atlantic states. My name is Morgan J. Fold. This is Greg here, second down. Kyle is third down, although Kyle doesn't apparently exist. And then Josh is fourth down. And today we're going to be talking about the potential impacts that Orlena could bring, upwards of 8 to 12 inches of snow possible for some areas of the Northeast. Now, we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about this to the best of our abilities, to what we know at the moment. There's still a few variables that we need to take into play. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We can discuss. And be sure to have a voice because we're looking in the chat. Orlena is shaping up on the shorter range model runs at this point to be a stronger winter storm than people had initially anticipated. So, from what we're looking at here, this is the newest HRRR model run, short range runs, and as you can see, almost snow squalls or snow pockets that start to develop closer to the center of the pressure. You can see them develop and move up towards the north. You can see some stronger areas of snow right in there. Those will be the areas we're going to need to watch for high accumulation of snowfall, as well as the potential in the future for what could be icy travel conditions after this, as well as these could be the areas that could experience some of the stronger winds. As you go further down, you can see the center of low pressure deepens down to 996. You can see snow continues to develop from north and west to the center of it, moves off to the north and west, starts to push and almost starts to pulse off to the north and west. And as you go along there, snow continues, eventually gets up towards Connecticut, Rhode Island, and the rest of the northeastern states as the time goes along. So, really interesting system watch. It's definitely a fair bit of change that could... Oh my god, definitely fair bit of change that could still come from this. So, just take a look. Composite reflectivity, which would show really the strength of the snow and rain, more so than just the type. So, we'll take a look here. It's going to take a second to load, because my Wi-Fi is having a fun time. But as you can see, snow developing there, and then as it pushes off, you can see heavier snow pockets starting to develop with time on Monday, pushing off towards the north and west, could eventually pose blizzard-like conditions, which would be a big threat to travel, as well as the potential for like snowfall accumulations up to a foot. I stuttered in speech there. There's Kyle. Kyle actually does exist. So, can see it pushing off to the north and west, allowing for very heavy snowfall in those areas. And I'm going to let the rest of them get into word because I've talked for the last 3.5 minutes. So, I'll let them introduce themselves, talk about the system, to what they want. So, take it over.
All right, guys, I'll go ahead and start off. Just want to say hello. I'm admin one of the United Weather Network. These are my team members, Josh and Kyle being my commands for radar, Morgan J. Fold, our next in line radar 2, and our tech specialist. Just wanted to come in and say that this is our first actual true official live stream for this team. Now that we finally have things running after our technical difficulties yesterday. Oh, what a downfall that was. Anyway, just wanted to say hello and hope you guys enjoy the stream here. Hope you guys can get the information you need to keep you and your family safe as the storm moves through the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Kyle, you go ahead with what you wanted to say, bud.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight? We got Josh on board, Morgan and Greg all in the room here. We're here to help you out with forecasting this storm. It's a tricky one. Going to be we'll get into it. I'm going to let Josh introduce himself and say what he needs to say real quick, and we can dip into things.
Yeah, what? Excuse me. What's going on there, everybody? Josh. I'm the only one not from the Northeast. I'm deep in the heart of Dixie down here in Alabama, so I will not see nothing but rain off of this storm. But I will have some 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts tonight, and we'll dive deeper into the forecast and model runs in just a few minutes. So I'll turn it back over to Morgan.
All right, so that's the rest of the team here. I'm really the latest addition, but I'm more the public voice per se, as I've been doing this streaming shtick for about 6-7 months at this point. So you're gonna hear mostly from me. Greg I'll hand it over to Greg every so often because I'm not the main voice here. But mostly in terms of forecasting, stuff like that, I'll be running through the model runs. I'll answer questions and stuff like that. And if Kyle, Greg, Josh, if you have anything, feel free to just open your mic and step in. So yeah. So total accumulated snowfall per model ratio. So it goes between Kachera and 10-1. So this could really end up being what's on the ground. Obviously, Kachera and 10-1 ratios indicate what could fall, not as much so what end up will falling, because you also have to accommodate for what could actually stick on the ground in terms of drifts, and then you also need to mind the fact that temperatures in some places might not be under 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So as we can see with total accumulated snowfall, you can see areas of Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania getting just slammed. These are the higher elevations of Jersey and the hills of Sussex, Warren County. And then eastern Pennsylvania, possibly upwards of 2 feet in there. You have to bear in mind, temperature gradient is sitting basically right along this line. So areas south of Cape May, Delaware, Maryland, stuff like that, or at least the eastern portions of Maryland, might not see as much as, say, northern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania. So with this being said, we might as well look at where the temperature gradient actually sits in relation to where the snowfall actually accommodates. So as we can see, starts to lag, starts to heat up a little bit on the eastern side of the storm. So you can see the gradient right here really defined along a line here extending near the Philadelphia area. You can see that's really where the freezing temperatures sit. And north of that, you're getting cooler temperatures in the mid to lower 20s, which will be very favorable for snow accumulation. Moving up and further along, you can see that gradient basically sits there on that area until midday on Monday, in which it starts to transition as the storm moves further off the shore. So as it moves further east, you're going to have to accommodate for the gradient to go from this to nearly this, as the gradient will end up shifting south with the storm moving off the coast. The front's going to extend out. It's going to kind of go like that. So you have to bear that in mind for those areas. You could go from snow to rain and then back to snow possibly at the end for areas like South Jersey and maybe portions of Delaware, Maryland, which we have discussed. So, yeah, you have to bear in mind temperature gradient could end up playing a factor. I'm going to take a look at the 850 millibar temperatures. So, really what this would be for is to determine the layer just slightly above the surface. So, if the surface temperature is below freezing but above, you have a temperature slightly above freezing, then that could lead to freezing rain accumulation. So we're just going to take a look at this too. Really the only areas that showed freezing rain accumulation were areas like North Carolina right here. So NAM and NAM 3K were pretty consistent on showing some ice forming right there and then falling and accumulating potentially. There is a note on the winter storm watches, warnings, and advisories that a glaze of ice is possible throughout portions of the watches for Virginia and North Carolina, so you're going to have to bear that in mind. You're going to have to bear that in mind going forward.
Yeah, Morgan, I was going to say that should definitely shift south, and even Sussex County and portions of Caroline and Wycomico could see a tail end snowfall as that pulls down out of the northwest there, the colder air. So I'm agreeing with that. Yeah.
So take a look throughout. It actually isn't as presentable on this run. It really shows up as more of a mix, but it does identify the fact that the layer just above the surface is warmer than what's actually at the surface. And Greg, I noticed you unmuted, so I'll let you get a word in.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, once the snow hits it first, I realized that the rain is going to come in after that and melt that away. Problem is that there's a lot of cold air coming in behind that, which is going to create even more icy conditions and probably will last a couple days after. So it's something to look out for.
Yeah, hazardous travel is definitely going to be a big factor here, particularly in areas that go back and forth from freezing temperatures, like you said, Greg. So you're gonna have to keep that in mind if you happen to reside in areas like South Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland,
Delmarva Peninsula.
Yeah. Delmarva, yeah, I don't know.
Like you could even see down there all the way into even like Emporia, Virginia Beach. You're going to be starting off as snow, then you're going to be getting a changeover. There it goes, and then we got a changeover. Then that sits right along the Philadelphia, New York, Long Island, D.C., Baltimore metro area. Then as this moves off, it's going to pull that all that precipitation snow out of Pennsylvania back towards the coast.
Yeah.
And wrap around the backside, northwest side of that low.
So yeah, so it's Josh.
I was gonna say these latest model runs has almost took out that second low that it has been showing up all week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
The one from the
But
Ohio Valley or the one that develops in
Yeah, the one over
Virginia,
here.
one,
think.
yeah, the
Let's
one
go-
that
let's-
would, yeah, it would, yeah, right there.
West Virginia,
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah, it was around
Um,
there, and basically the energy gets taken out into here as it moves up
Right.
the coast.
Transfers
away.
over the Appalachian spine and then onto the Piedmont Plateau and down into the coastal Carolina plains,
Yeah.
Virginia
But-
Tidewater area.
Mhm.
But yeah, where, like I was just saying, very dangerous travel where it switches over from rain to snow back to rain. Be definite flash freeze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
definitely coming afterwards when this finally pulls off the coast.
So
Yeah.
So
So
basically, you're going to have snow on top of rain on top of snow in some areas, and you're going to have all snow probably north of the, I'd say, Wilmington, Philadelphia area out that way. You might even have a slight changeover to sleet for a bit.
I
See
mean,
see how that line right there moves
Yep.
a little bit
And then
north,
as-
and then it starts.
Yeah, and then as the low starts moving offshore, you can see how it approaches
And
back south
there we
and
go. Yep.
east. So particularly for areas like the Delmarva Peninsula, South Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania. So like you can see there, dealing with warmer temperatures initially, rising into them possibly even the mid 30s, but then dropping back shortly after down below freezing as
I love
first
that.
of all the low moves offshore and nightfall occurs.
I love that little donut hole there.
Oh yeah, a little pocket right here.
right in there.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's high terrain of West Virginia, looks like, or maybe lower terrain.
Let me see if I freeze on that frame. What does
West
it actually
Virginia's
say for
pretty
that
much
area?
that's Ohio, right?
That's West Virginia there, and the Ohio's.
I don't know what that is actually.
Yeah, yeah,
That's weird.
anomaly.
That's an anomaly, exactly.
Mhm. So, in terms of what to expect in the structure of the storm, like we mentioned, it could transition to possibly be sort of nor'easter type system. At the moment, it is an MCS that is trucking along through the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. But as you can see here, IR is showing that there's definitely a lot of cloud cover and precip going on with this storm, and if this would load, it'd be fantastic.
Did you want to explain what a MCS is for new viewers?
Yeah, so MCS, to put it in shorter words, is basically, it's a simile for a weaker low pressure system. It's usually associated with some sort of severe weather potential. Over the day,
Which we did have today.
Yeah, today over the day. It was Oklahoma, Missouri, something like that.
Kansas
Oklahoma,
as well.
Missouri, Kansas,
Southeast Kansas.
And Arkansas.
Yeah, we did
Arkansas
have
as well,
a localized tornado threat for an area that was just south of the center of low pressure in that MCS. There were 6 tornado warnings at once someone sent to me. So,
yeah, one confirmed in Oklahoma.
Yeah, one got confirmed. One was on the ground. I saw that on Spotter Network.
There was multiple warnings, though,
and then there was one
point.
for Joplin, which was
very scary for that town.
So as you can see, as time goes along, you can see, wow, stuff implodes off the coast of North Carolina with that heating that will be present. Thunderstorm action going on there.
Absolutely off the coast.
As it moves closer off the coast, you can even see on IR the snow pockets that develop and start to move off towards the north and west. Really becomes present in terms of cloud cover there as you get closer off. You can see it is generally spinning, so the center of low pressure is about here, where everything's kind of arching around. So definitely something to keep in mind with the snowfall totals. You're also going to have gusty winds associated, and I'll switch over from the HRRR soon because I know the NAM and stuff is running, so I want to let that run as long as I can. So as this loads, let it
load
yeah, gosh, starts to speed up closer to now. There we go.
Yes, the
So
wind
as you can
gusts.
see, particularly offshore, you can see wind gusts that start to explode with the storms that will be associated.
So
South
the
and
reds and
east of low
yellows are going to
pressure.
be the higher
Yes,
winds.
so the reds and yellows indicate the higher wind gusts. So red basically marks 30 miles an hour, and then yellows indicate 30 and up, and then yellows indicate 50 and up,
50.
and then these sort of darker yellows indicate 60 and up. So
So
as
you can see coming close.
so
Yep.
particularly, God, the thunderstorm structure on this is
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
that looks like yeah.
There's
So
definitely gonna be some thunder snow. Get ready.
yeah, it's definitely possible. So you're gonna look up and around this area here, extending through eastern
That's
Pennsylvania and the majority of Jersey. You're gonna
30
have
to 40 to almost 50,
30 to 40
possibly
to almost
60 along the
50 in
coast.
localized spots in terms of wind gust. Now you're also going to have to keep in mind that your actual wind, the wind that's sustained, is also going to be 15 getting towards 20 knots. So you have to bear that in mind. The sustained wind is going to be pretty strong as well, and in combination with the precip that mounts up on the power lines, it could lead to some localized power outages. Might not be so
Power
localized,
outages.
come to think of it.
This is a big system for sure.
Especially for the swath of the area that's supposed to be covered in 30 to 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. As you can see, as it goes off and gets further off the coast, you can see particularly Delaware is going to be slammed pretty hard with 40 to 50
Northeasterly
gusts.
winds.
Yeah, and then you can see the bay along here, 40 to 50 gusts, and up the east coast of New Jersey, those areas are going to be seeing 40 to 50 gusts.
Coastal flooding will be an issue.
Yes, coastal flooding. There are coastal flood watches that are in effect for the majority of South Jersey as well as Delaware, and I thought I
think
saw
it's
even
all the way down to Chincoteague
Virginia.
area.
Yeah, Chincoteague.
That is one serious scorpion tail.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Wow.
That's how you know it's bombing out over there.
You can see the front extending all the way down.
That could be dry. That could be dry air moving in the back of it too.
Yeah, and if it is, then you're gonna have an even higher snowfall threat. So as you can see, as it starts to bomb out, winds off the coast
60, 70.
get much
Hey
higher.
Morgan,
Yeah.
Oh my
what's the pressure on that low?
Pressure on the low. So if you want me to freeze it here, quite frankly, it's better for my Wi-Fi if I don't need to wait for it to loop every time. So at that point, it's 997, but at the end of the run, less than 10 hours later, it gets all the way down to about 992 as it shifts off the coast. And definitely if you're talking about dry air intrusion as well, you could be talking about even further deepening of it. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. So if we take a look at sustained winds as well, and I think this is a good time to freeze it, you can see particularly up and along the coast 50 to 20 knots, which would be about 20 to 25 miles an hour, give or take, I think. And as you get off towards Long Island's going to be hit pretty well. I don't think Long Island's going to be hit with high wind warning potential, but as model runs progress, we definitely will have to monitor. That is definitely a possibility. Pockets in here.
The gust you were showing last time was, or then that last one was almost. I saw 67 miles per hour right off of Staten Island there.
Yeah.
So they probably will.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And you're also going to need to watch out if the models do continue to uptrend like they have with the winds and the deepening. There could be some blizzard warnings, but they likely will be isolated. It's not like there's going to be blizzard warnings covering the entirety of Delaware, Maryland, and New Jersey. That's just not going to happen. It would be localized where the model runs are showing the higher winds. So that would be up and along probably southern
central
Jersey.
to northern Jersey,
Yeah,
I think.
central northern Jersey as time goes along.
And maybe parts of
southeastern
Long
Pennsylvania,
Island.
Delaware. Well, Delaware, if they actually get enough snow to warrant that. However, at this time, they might be all rain.
We will have the winds. We will have the winds in place, though.
Oh, yeah. And that time, you're actually getting nothing. So, y'all are just going to be dealing with winds at that point.
Plus, this is still a model, so it's showing what's likely to happen, but that snow could shift here or there depending on 15, 20 miles of track. It could look, different. But just be either a little further south or north. So that's, we got to keep that in mind. But these are starting to line up now a little better.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little more consistent at this point.
Right.
Which is why we figured now we can do this.
Just to speak of a little bit off the snow subject there. here in Alabama tonight, we're under a wind advisory. Winds expected to be 40 miles an hour,
Yeah, and I can
up to
actually
40 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I can actually see the front as it moves through. You're definitely, gusty
Oh yeah.
wind's going to be extending all the way through the area tonight
You
in the
want to put
southeastern
a
states.
vorticity up on that?
Yeah, if we want to take a look here. So,
Just because
I'll
we did
select,
have severe weather coming out of that earlier.
yeah. So I'll select
Yeah.
50, just to get an idea closer to the surface. Yeah, Josh? Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, there's no severe weather expected from this.
Off the coast,
down
though,
there.
there's a lot that develops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that should definitely get crazy off the coast.
Oh, yeah.
Right there, look at that.
So that's as the low is deepening.
So that could even be almost like thunder. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
as it moves up and off the coast, you can see the vorticity. Jeez. And then eventually, as it moves off towards the northeast, you can see stronger.
See that
up and
up there?
around.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah. So
trying to say. Right towards Long Island.
yeah, Long Island, areas like Nantucket stuff. Nantucket. I don't know why I said Nantucket. You guys might need to watch out. If this occurs, then you're going to be talking about very gusty winds up
Thunder
along
snow.
the areas.
Thunder snow possible.
Thunder snow
too.
is definitely possible as well, and we were actually taking a look at that earlier. There is some lightning density that is appearing in areas, particularly in here. As the low deepens, there is some lightning density that is showing up there, so you're going to have to be watching that area for any kind of thunder snow development. So vorticity definitely indicating the stronger deepening of winds and stuff like that, as well as the potential for convective energy in the air, which would lead to thunder snow. Let me take a look at the precip loop, because I haven't even done that yet completely. So as you can see, it gets off towards the north and east. You can see as it strengthens down to 991, as this model is showing, snow definitely increases up and along the coast. You could be talking about some very heavy snowfall up and around these areas. And the snow persists through Tuesday morning
Easily
as the low
2 to 3 inches per hour
starts
maybe.
to meander over that area. So snow continues all the way in some areas through Tuesday night and potentially even to Wednesday for Long Island. But as it moves off the coast, conditions will start to improve. Let's take a look at what wind gusts are showing off the island here. Or off the island? Well, off the island, I guess. So as you can see, this model is favoring, with the vorticity, stronger wind gusts up and along Long Island. But it is also favoring a larger swath
Right along the coast of Delaware, Jersey.
Delaware, Jersey, stuff like that. It is favoring a larger swath of wind gusts ranging from 45 to 50, even 55 or 60, potentially up and along the coast as you get further up towards the north and east. Take a look at snowfall totals at this point, and I'll use the 10 to 1 because there isn't a lot of mixed precip, particularly where we're looking here. So as it moves off, so you can see with this model favoring Long Island, geez, so you can see areas just north of New York City, upwards of 2 feet of snow that could fall, not accumulate, that could fall. Depends on if temperatures are favorable enough, and plus New York City has the urban bubble, so you also have to bear that in mind. But this model is definitely favoring the stronger density of snowfall to be up in the northeastern New Jersey, southeastern New York area with the deepening of the low pressure. You're also going to be talking about gusty winds and potentially even blizzard-like conditions at times as it moves off toward the north and east. But otherwise, you're talking about local pockets of 1 foot plus also over central Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania as it moves off. And then in other places, I'm going to be talking about coatings and stuff like that. Pretty thick coatings, actually. 4, 5, 6, upwards of that. We take
Morgan,
a look at...
I think you might need to take a nap after this, bud.
He's always like that.
I already took a 5.5 hour nap today, so I'm fine at the moment.
I don't think that counts as a nap, my friend.
Nah. He told us before. Remember, he said if I can learn how to speak.
Yeah.
We can learn how to sleep.
Y'all saw my YouTube streams. I have my moments.
I know.
So As we look at snow depth, this will actually really concur for what could fall. It actually does factor the urban bubble more so. So New York City
It
only
does.
shows about 9 on the ground, but areas like northeastern Jersey, upwards of a foot, 16 inches showing up. For areas Sussex, Passaic, Bergen
I
County,
agree with
stuff
I
like
agree
that.
with that.
Yeah, where it's not as still populous, but not
But
as
see,
warm.
but I'm not liking how it's not showing anything for Delaware. So I would go with a mixture of that for up there, and then what they had originally for that other model, which was like 4 or 5 for parts of Kent and Sussex. That's believable.
Yeah. So what this model shows, so with the deepening of the pressure, temperatures actually rise into the low 40s. It actually shows for Delaware. That I don't
That's going
necessarily
to be
agree
Monday,
with.
correct?
That would be Monday. That'd be about 7 in the morning.
I do agree that I do agree with that because of how close that low is going to be to us and pulling up the Gulf Stream moisture and temperature from the Atlantic.
Oh yeah. So
I'm
So
gonna have
I
to
have
agree with
one quick question. I noticed
Yeah.
at first there it was coming like straight across to the east, and then all of a sudden it looked like something kind of pushed down in the back. Is there another front coming in behind that? That's
push down the
pushed
back.
back
Where
to-
you like directionally? Where are you talking about?
like if you're looking over
towards
by Illinois, you can see
Illinois,
where this comes
Ohio.
over and then drops down and starts coming towards South Carolina.
I believe that's a high pressure pushing.
High
Yeah,
pressure,
that-
probably
yeah,
ridging. It's probably ridging. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, there is a high pressure that's supposed to sit in the central or southeast. That's what longer range models were showing. So it's potentially that. So as you can see,
And then
as the
there
low
we go.
trend-
That's where we
Yep.
start getting snow.
Yeah, so that's where you
we'll
would
start
start
getting
to
snow
get
right
snow,
there.
and that's where conditions would become particularly hazardous. This one shows it moving
Absolutely.
off relatively quickly, but you can see the temperatures remaining below freezing for the entirety of the area and into the Delmarva Peninsula. So that would create for A, extremely hazardous travel, and B, the snowfall, particularly in the areas of eastern Pennsylvania and northern Jersey, to stick. So
Flash
Yep.
freeze.
flash freeze as well. This is a good point. So as it moves off again, temperatures rise and then fall like
Then
winter
fall
here.
again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Very cold. Look in
yeah.
the mountains, 17, 16 out there.
Yeah, up and along, even 13,
Very
stuff like that, as it
chilly,
gets
yeah.
towards the cooler pockets. If we take a look at the high res NAM run, if we take, I should drop back to preset. I'm just gonna really go through this and then potentially show what the impacts could be longer term. So I would show the GFS, go to a continental run, and show what could be the impacts after this for the area, as Josh actually had mentioned what appeared to be a high pressure intrusion afterwards. So we'll take a look at that. But as you can see, the 3K is also showing some right there, so you can see some pulsing on development of snow. That's definitely going to have some thunderstorm.
That's the
thunder snow
convective.
potential.
That's the convectiveness right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the convective bursts.
That's the convection.
that are
convection
occurring near
burst, yeah.
the center of pressure. And as you can see, it lingers and then moves off the coast. So
And then see,
very
there's
similar.
that pulling down into Delaware too.
Yep. So
You see
very
at the end
similar
of
to the
that
NAM.
frame.
And actually, as you can see, the high pressure strands.
There it
you can see
is.
down
Yep.
there. Yep.
That's the ridge of it. Yeah.
Even gets up into here, so there might actually be some dry air intrusion that's getting into the system, which would favor
That's going
higher
to definitely
snowfall.
exactly for the convective factor.
So, with this being said, ladies and gents, I'm going to switch back over to the GFS and I'll take a broader look at things. If you have any questions, put them in chat. But if you don't, we can wrap this up probably within the next 10 minutes, something like that. So you can see this is the MCS at this point that produced the localized tornado threat. As it moves closer to the coast, you can see it drags out and starts to form another pressure there.
And that's
This one
where
just-
that
Yeah, the
Mhm.
energy just kind of gets taken from this. So as you can see, that develops, strengthens, and then starts to pulse snow across the
And-
northeast.
no, that's favoring more like Delaware there. With,
Yeah. As you can see, this gets down to even 989, extremely gusty winds if you're
That's-
talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Up and along the coast. But afterwards, you can see high pressure takes over for the majority of the eastern south. Well, at that moment, it would be the southeastern, but as the low pressure moves off, it would take over for the eastern United States, favoring more stable stable forecast for the next few days after that. We're going to have to monitor this trough.
Very cold though.
Very cold, yeah. You're going to be talking
yeah.
about 20s for daytime highs, which is what we've actually been experiencing this week up here. So, nothing really out of the ordinary, but you're definitely
probably
gonna need,
30s for Delaware, probably
you're
for this
definitely
part.
going to have to keep yourself bundled up if going outside.
Yeah, go ahead and run that out till about next Friday.
So, can see this model run seems to be indicating some sort of trough that develops into another low pressure off of this one. So, as you can see, as it pushes off, cold front extends southward, and I did not see that in the latest runs.
There we go. That's some severe weather starting on this Dixie Alley.
Yeah, Dixie Alley could be seeing some kind of severe weather threat, particularly
Arkansas,
areas
next weekend.
Georgia.
Just so you know, we just got a request on our Facebook page. Someone saying, "Can you talk more about what's going on through Illinois tonight? We're encountering heavy snow to the north and freezing rain south and downstate Illinois."
So that is associated with the same pressure, the same storm.
Or same storm system.
Same pressure.
Winter Storm ORLENA is the official name.
So in fact, I'll zoom in on the area here.
Let me just protest as a meteorological person. I hated when they started naming winter storms.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was kind of weird to me too. But
yes, I was going to say I've looked at. I've got a buddy that lives in Illinois, upper state, north, basically north of Champaign, north of basically toward Danville, north. I was watching radar earlier for him. It's pretty much snow.
So at this moment it's 21:55, so it'd be 20:55. It's about 9 p.m. Central Time there. So basically you're talking about at least for the future time for the future. Conditions should start to clear up going into the evening and into the early morning tomorrow. By the time you wake up, by the time daybreak occurs, maybe some light snow or rain that lingers, but the majority of the impacts will move out of the area tonight as the low pressure starts to truck further east and starts to approach the east coast, where we would start to see impacts up and along.
That's a good 8 hours though, snow.
Like yeah,
for up in Chicago and everything.
Oh yeah, so Chicago, you're definitely
4 hours,
going to be seeing
5
some
hours,
further
6 hours,
accumulation.
7.
Right now, the snow rain lines from Rockford, Illinois, down to Danville.
You can clearly see that line right there. The temperature gradient.
That's on the. That's live radar.
Right there.
Yeah.
On rate. Oh yeah.
What I'll actually do is I'll wait and I'll pull up this. I'll pull up surface observations. We'll see what it's going on. But as you can see, a very evident temperature gradient, temperature line there. It's going to separate really the more wet precip from the freezing precip. So Chicago, you're going to continue to see those snowfall, and it's going to come down. It's likely going to stick in most areas of the Chicago metro. Pardon me. But areas like Champaign, Peoria, Galesburg, likely not going to see any kind of freezing conditions until either the morning.
Later on.
Yeah, so as you can see, the freezing air. God.
And see, that's the exact kind of same effect, but it's a little more broadened out. But you can still see that northwesting rat that it's going to do over this way as well.
You can see, it starts to come down from the north and west towards areas in like Champaign, Springfield, Terre Haute.
Similar scenario to what's going to happen in Delaware here and lower portions of Delaware.
So, similar to what we were talking about with the low moving further off the coast to the east, the cold air coming around it and back. So, likely, if I had to put an outlook for the future tonight, Snow likely to continue, likely won't stick. You could see some mixed precip, but most of the things should clear out by 7, 8, 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, other than a lingering shower or snow shower. Do keep in mind it will continue to be cold in these areas, though. Low 30s, mid 30s is potentially the forecast for tomorrow, so you're going to have to bear that in mind. Do we have any other questions? I didn't completely finish running through the GFS, but do we have any other questions?
Don't have any other questions, but I just found something out. January 30th and 31st of 1982, a 1 in 70-year snow event occurred from the eastern Ozarks to central Illinois with the heaviest axis of snow blanketing St. Louis, Missouri. The snow began during the evening of January 30th, a Saturday, and ended during the afternoon of Sunday, January 31st. Paralyzed the area with government offices, many businesses and schools canceling work or class for up to a week after the snow ended.
Wow.
As many as 4,000 motorists were stranded on highways due to blizzard-like conditions that were created over the region. Some 20 inches, I believe, of snow.
Yikes.
2 inches per hour. The falling snow wind did create snow drifts of up to 6 feet.
Oh wow. That might be more than
Jeez.
20 inches.
So, yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah, wow.
fun.
Just a little tidbit there.
Yeah, it's about 50 years ago, is it not?
It'll be the 50th anniversary next year.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's just some weather history for you.
Yeah, that's really interesting to note.
It is.
So further,
It looks like
Illinois
there actually
ice
St.
storm
Louis.
element.
It looks like St. Louis gets something right there.
Oh yeah. They might get all.
Right
They
there,
might get
ice
every
storm.
precip type. Jeez. So snow on the back end, but yeah, localized
snow on the
severe
back
threat
end.
possible for Dixie Alley as this moves up. This would be Friday the 5th, later at night. After this,
Kind of
what
falls
is
apart.
that? There's the smallest center of pressure right here.
I see that.
That's
weird.
Either way, as time goes along, after that, very settled weather comes in. High pressure starts to sit over the central U.S. The only place that would really be seeing precip, that would be for the weekend of the 6th. The only place I'd really be seeing precip is the Keys in South Florida. But
Very cold
otherwise,
again for the
pretty
Great
cold,
Lakes.
yeah, pretty cold, but very sunny, very temperate. Very
clear, good for astrophotography for sure.
Oh
if
yeah.
you can bear the cold.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see, after that, little something develops in the Rockies in terms of troughing, but that really doesn't have any precip associated with it. You can see a small burst of snow and rain along a front there, but that gets pushed off by a stronger high pressure, actually 1041. So that'll eventually move out. And very settled weather actually coming up for the next week or so. Other than the end of the run, in which you can see the weekend of the 13th, possibly some storms on Dixie Alley once again with a smaller low pressure and a cold front.
Doesn't look
descending
as much as a severe threat though, due
Nope.
to the there's not really a trough with it.
No, it's kind of going north to
It's
south,
kind of
which
just
doesn't really
like
help.
we got the gradient waves coming down.
Yeah.
Isobars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When they curve up, that's when we have problems.
Yeah. So, with that being said, if anyone has any further questions, put them in the chat. But otherwise, unless Greg has something to say, just notice he unmuted.
I'm good for right now.
All right. If anyone has any questions, Greg's been monitoring the Twitter. I forgot your name for a second. I'm great. Look in the chat for anything. If anyone has anything, put it there. But otherwise, we can end within a few minutes. We appreciate everyone stopping by. Hopefully this will become more frequent as we get closer to the potential for the tomorrow. I'll just say tomorrow.
Just so everybody knows, there is a good possibility that tomorrow afternoon we will be doing another live stream as the snowstorm is actually happening, covering what's going on the ground, and then going through some radar to kind of show you guys what we see. Also, those of you who are watching, feel free to share this with your friends or family, so that way we can get the word out to other people that this team is here to help you guys. Just so we can get the word out a lot easier across the country. We are trying to build up this into a large weather community. So anybody willing and wanting to join our team as well, it's under the United Weather Network on Facebook and the groups. You're more than welcome to message me, Kyle, Josh, even Morgan.
Yeah.
And
likely going to try and set up a Twitter page as well soon enough, so more info on that will come out as according.
We have
But
Instagram
for the moment,
too.
Facebook, yeah, Instagram, even though Outlook kind of sucks, but we won't. That's a story for another day. So, yeah, I can't think of anything else to say.
Also, guys, I just put the YouTube name of Morgan's personal page where he does live coverages of storms as they happen. In fact, just the other day he was covering the Tallahassee tornado. So go ahead and check out his YouTube page and show him some love, show him some support. And once again, I appreciate you all coming out to watch us tonight. And like I said, feel free to share with your family. And if you would like to join the team, let us know.
Mm-hmm. But I think with everything being said, we can wrap this up here. My name is Morgan J. Fold. Kyle, Greg, Josh down the line on the side of the screen. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the next briefing or live stream. Take care.